were turning. You're indicating.
If you rely on a misleading signal and there's a collision, who do you think would be found at fault? This was a near miss, but had the vehicles collided, where do you think the liability would rest? Before we get into the liability, if you enjoy my liability reviews, do make sure to drop a follow, and if you've got any footage you'd like to send me, do make sure to head to the website that's linked on my profile page. In this case, the answer would have been that both drivers would have been responsible for the collision had there been one, and that is the usual outcome when there is a misleading signal, though there are a few separate situations which could change the liability outcome. In this incident, had it resulted in a collision with the video evidence, the camera car would have been 2/3 responsible and the driver with the misleading signal would have been 1/3 responsible. This is a precedent by way of case law of Wadsworth and Gillespie. The outcome of that case is that you should not be relying on signal alone. If you go back to your driving lessons, this is something that you learn very early on when doing junction manoeuvres. That's because you should be looking at the approaching car's speed and positioning in the road, and if they don't look like they're slowing to turn and they don't look like they're positioning to turn, they're probably not going to turn, so you shouldn't look to leave the minor road into their path. There are a few scenarios where it could go in the favour of the car pulling out, but those happen a lot more infrequently because it just doesn't happen as often and it's also harder to evidence. If the misleading signal car was signalling and slowing down and positioning as if it was going to turn and it changes its mind at the last moment and proceeds forward, then that car driver could be found fully at fault, if you can evidence that with either video or credible independent witness evidence. The case law for that scenario is Winter and Cotton. Now, the other potential scenario would be if a vehicle puts their indicator on just at the junction to signal that they are going to pull up at the side of the road after the junction. So the vehicle is on the major road, is slowing down, but not indicating just yet, and then it initiates its indicator right as it meets the junction, and the car that's waiting at the minor road, waiting to join the major road, pulls out into their path, and there's a collision. That would put the car pulling out completely at fault. The case law for this was Sawyer Limited and Bromwich. There is one more case law to mention, and that's Davis and Swinwood, where the car exiting the minor road alleged that the HGV that was on the major road was travelling slowly and indicating left, so they left the side road. The signalling was denied by the HGV driver, and that case was found in their favour, with the car exiting the side road being found completely responsible. So in most cases, the outcome would be 1/3, 2/3 in favour of the car on the major road with a misleading signal, but occasionally that might change to suit being in favour of the other car driver that was exiting the minor road. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound.